Yes, we are back. I was about to say it's Saturday. No, it's Sunday. You know what that means. It's time for Rasslin Talk. We're doing a special edition today, and as we promised you guys, we have a special guest here today, and we're doing it in dedication to our good friend, Mr. Kevin Gray. And Kevin Gray, actually, he was an individual that meant a lot to all of us here. We met each other at ICB, which is a broadcasting school in downtown Chicago. And actually, he was one of the first people I met and that actually encouraged me to, get on the podcast, start doing voiceovers, start doing production work. And, he was just really motivating. It's really hard to find people that way. And it's really hard, for me to explain how much he meant for me because there's not a lot of people that will take their time to show you something that you don't know and to actually sit there and explain it to you. And for him to do that to not just me, to a lot of us, I appreciate it, and I will never forget you for that. So, Kevin, this show's for you, man. So we got here a couple guests that we'd like to introduce. First off, we have my man DJ Epidemic, aka Elliot, the owner of Logic Radio, which we're live right now on Logic Radio. So you guys don't forget, download the app. You can download wherever you get your apps, Google, Apple, doesn't matter. Just download it. You check us out on there. But my man Elliot, he known KG for a long time. Kevin was a great friend to him as well, just like he was to me. And he mentored both of us. And we also have another guy that actually mentored a lot of us here, my man JR Bang. He gave us all, our start at Windy City Underground. This guy's a content creator. He's been doing this for years. He's an on-air personality, a producer. He does everything, photographer, videographer. For the most part, he's just one big whole package, So whatever you need in radio, videography, that's your man right there. And we also have a couple other guests. My man DJ, want to introduce them?
Who, me? Oh, thank you. Thank you. You're promoting everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
No, man, I want to give introduce a good buddy of mine. He's one of the first guys that I met when I entered the Illinois Center for Broadcasting. That's Donye Jones.
Yes.
And the second individual, he hooked me up with my first interview with Victoria. If he remembers that at Pro Wrestling Blitz, he put me on the spot. Pete, thank you, Pete Ferreira. He's here to join us and everything. Thank you guys again for joining us and everything. I know you guys got a lot of hilarious stories involving KG and everything, and we are just gonna shoot the breeze and just enjoy his memory and stuff like that. It's WrestleMania season, which is perfect because there's a lot going on, and what happened yesterday and what's happening today with the weather in Tampa, man, it's crazy and everything. So Julio, I'm gonna give it back to you.
Oh yeah,
you just let it flow.
Cool, man. So Kevin, man, just want to talk a little more about Kevin, and then I'm gonna let you guys tell those stories about Kevin if you guys have some stories about him. But I'm about this picture right here, man. Woo, I don't know if you guys remember this, but this is the time me and Kevin took over the Tilo show, and it was quite an adventure. So I really never done, live shows like that. I was so used to doing podcasts or pre-recording shows. And this time Tilo needed someone to step in and do a show for him. So Kevin actually offered for us to do it. I had no idea, but he's like, no, we can do it. I'm like, what? Okay, it's the Tilo show. If you don't know the Tilo show, it's a pretty big deal back in the day if you're a student. So I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do it. And Kevin actually got a couple pictures of us, and he did a little Photoshop, and he's like, look, we even got a picture to promote it, man.
Oh my God. That's bad.
That's bad. That is bad. But yeah, you guys got any stories about Kevin? Let's start with you, Donye.
Yeah, go Donye.
I was about to say, I'm gonna let you talk. It looked like you was about to say something.
Nah, you go, you got
it. All right, well, the most memorable one I remember was, I think everybody was there. Remember when we did the the Comic Con. It was out in Rosemont.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
a week before that, I think we did an interview with the Suicide Girls. They was like this burlesque group that did like little burlesque plays, and they did cosplay. It was like, I don't even think cosplay was as big as it is now at that time. So we were in there, and he was like, "Hey, here go a young lady with this group, and she's doing colognes for Marvel characters, Spider-Man, Black Panther, this and that."
I still have the
he's
Captain
like-
America one.
Right? You do? Oh wow!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got the
yeah.
Iron Man one. I actually got the Iron Man, and
What
I had
was
this
it, Mark
Iron
5, Mark 6?
Mark 5, Mark 5.
Okay.
And I had this Iron Man chain that I got from some little spot. It was probably about $5, but I thought it was gonna be cool with the whole vibe that was going on. And we doing interviews with everybody else, and there's one lady that was there looking at me. Now, baby, this was for my wife before I got married, for all that. And KT was like, he said, she keeps looking at you. I said, nah, she looking at you. He's like, nah, she looking at you. He's like, you should go over there and holler at her, right? You gotta get an interview because they doing something that you like. And so, lo and behold, I go over there, and she was really feeling me for real. So I ended up taking that girl out that night. And that was
Nice.
the last night I took her out. But that was on KG, man. So hey, man, he was a wing-man. He went on, gave me that assist. Hey,
He had an eye for that. Got a
there go
couple
my brother in the
pictures.
background
Yeah.
with the hat on. Yeah.
Got a couple pictures I'm gonna pull up. Yeah, you might want to.
Oh, yeah.
This is a throwback right here.
Yeah, I
That's a
remember that
great one.
man.
But you remember
That
this
was
one?
when our promo
Oh, of
picture.
course I remember that one. I was the San Diego Chargers playing in that game. I don't even need to see that screen. That's when, and one of the things, not just about KG and, Danier, but like, back when, and Bank can attest to this, back when we were able to do certain things or be creative, that's when those stations were flying high. And, Game On, I mean, I don't like to live in a world of what ifs, but it's always fun sometimes just to say, if Twitch existed when Game On Radio did, I mean, good Lord, where those hits could have been. I think about some of the big interviews that we've had, and Bang and I, and this isn't to go behind the scenes, but Bang and I had to fight so much to do things, or not only to do things, to allow you all to do things, because it was always a fear. And one reason that, KG was a part of that all is sometimes he was a sounding board, or sometimes he was the KG go run the board. So, when I look at that picture, those are good times, because it's, hey, this TV is hooked up to Comcast. Let's unplug it. Let's play video games, and let's just film ourselves doing that. And, even 8-9 years ago, who wants to watch you play video games? Well, now look at how things are. So,
Yep.
And KG was instrumental in every one of those crazy ideas. And, I don't remember what the topic was, but I remember there was one time where KG started, welling up with tears because he wanted to do something so bad, and I know Bang had a million of these situations that, well, it's like, look, it's never us telling you no. Yeah. It's other situations telling you no, but KG, you could tell that's how much he cared, not only for himself but his job and the stations, that he always wanted to do that extra stuff. So, yeah, that's a good picture. That's a great picture.
I actually got another picture. You mentioned JR in there.
Yes, Bang. I had to pull that one up.
And that's cool. See, that night was, it was a fashion show that we had connected with for No One Radio.
I remember that.
And my favorite memory of KG just so happens to be No One Radio. And I think Elliot may remember this because Elliot was there with me. So we were all having a conversation, and KG looks out for everybody.
Yes, he does.
And I was trying to tell KG, you got to slow down. You can't look out for everybody because everybody don't have your best interest at heart. Mm-hmm. And we started going back and forth, and I didn't expect to get into a back and forth with KG. So as the back and forth is not getting heated, it's me literally telling them just to be careful. I forgot who we were talking about. but I know they were women. And I told KG,
Yeah.
them don't give a about you, so slow down. I turn around, KG's crying. And I was like, wait a minute, what are you crying for? Like, he has tears coming down his eyes. I'm like, Joe, what are you crying for? And I had to slow down, and I had to think about, like, yeah, this is KG, and KG looks out for everybody. So I had slowed down, and I was like, look, I explained everything to him. He got it, and literally, like, the next day, he was like, hey, Bang, you're right. Like, you're right. And it just tells me that, like, it always told me that KG is very passionate. Everybody didn't see that, though.
Yep.
That's right.
He had to trust you in order for you to see that passionate side of him.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I ever saw that passionate side. Now, it turned out I was right, but I still came out of that like, yo, I this was the KG I was waiting on. And he was like that ever since to me. Like, he would be able to say things and do things, and it was like, okay, it's cool. And I don't think that would have happened if we had that conversation, because I think he saw me still like as a teacher and as an administrator more than just how all of you guys see me, because he had to wait and see that moment, and he got it.
Wow.
Wow.
That's KG for you, though. That's passion.
I wouldn't have had Game On Radio if it wasn't for him.
Yeah. Actually, I wouldn't have had the Loud House. I don't know if you guys remember the Loud House, but me and Elliot did a show back in the day with DJ coming by, and Kevin was the first one, to start us off. He made our Facebook page. He started making our flyers. He tried to set dates up for different DJs to come on the show, and he was just on it. That's what he was about. He just tried to help different people all the time. And Elliot, you got anything to say about KG? I know you have a lot to say about KG, man.
Yeah, the Loud House. That's when I was an unknown quantity.
Yeah. Now look at you. You're big time, man.
Yeah, no. Honestly, if it wasn't for KG, I probably wouldn't be like really where I am. He was the backbone and still is of Logic Radio. He did a lot of stuff for us. Like, I have a huge family, and I'm trying to make money and do all this other stuff. So he was running the scene. He was running everything behind the scenes. And they smell so and great. He
I'm sorry, Donnie.
Hey, Donnie. We can hear everything.
Before y'all continue, what's funny is this is really like the first time I'm on StreamYard, not related to work. Like, we use StreamYard for work because of virtual and everything.
Yeah.
So all I'm doing is hearing Danye with the pad going, and the work mode came into me. Like, I tried to mute him. It just shows you how much work I do. It shows like, dang, I ain't got control. What am I to do?
Yeah, the funny part is, how can we hear him? He's muted.
No, he's muted now.
I muted him. I'm sorry, man.
Okay.
Oh my God!
I should have did it sooner.
I thought it was one of my windows, so I closed one of the windows on my computer thing. I was like, wait a second, that's not me.
Is that one of my kids?
That's I know.
I'm sorry about that, guys.
Is that
that's his pad. That's the no. It's an iPad. It's just a case, and he is watching Blippi.
I tell you, Blippi getting shout outs on the
I apologize for that.
WrestleMania preview show, man. Love it.
That is funny, man. That's funny.
I really apologize for that, guys. And then he waving at y'all and everything.
Oh God.
But yeah, I mean,
he was the backbone of Logic Radio, man. Like,
he did a lot of stuff for us. I mean, if we needed press passes, I don't know how he did it, but we were at the auto show every year.
Yep.
We were at I know why we were at the restaurant show, but
he loved Exotica. We were Exotica every year too.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So, if you needed something done like that, he was the guy. So, I'm working on some stuff. In all honesty, like, I could put it out right now. I'm trying to put together a scholarship fund in his name.
that's cool.
Because he helped a lot of people in ICB or IMS, when they needed it. So it's just something small right now, but I'm trying to work that out. So we're trying to start the Kevin Gray Scholarship Fund for media students. And, so it's a lot of stuff going on, and I just want to pay it forward.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome, how Kevin
Bill just jumped in, and I don't know if Bill remembers, but I saved every last one of us for getting in trouble about Exotica.
Really?
Yes.
That was bad. That was ugly.
Fat Mike too.
Thanks, Fat Mike. Yeah, thanks, Fat Mike.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, and it had to do with KG. And
it was
show.
KG
because apparently it came up on one of the shows in one of the pictures, and Bill called me. I was on my way home. Bill's like, "Hey, JR, you got a second?" And I already knew where we were going. and Bill was like, "Yeah, so did you guys go to Exotica?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Did you go through the school?" I was like, "I ain't that stupid." Like, I got my own brand. I went through there. I will never use Illinois Center for Broadcasting to be like, "Hey, let me go to Exotica." I don't know what show it was, but they used it, and Bill was like, "Yo, what are we gonna do here?" I was like, I got it. Don't worry about it." So every last one of you who went to Exotica, you owe me a thank you, because I put I put myself in the front of that one, and Bill was like,
"Thank you, JR."
Yeah.
So you the reason why we got Misty Stone to do our promo.
I mean, nah. I'm the reason why, however, that the administration ain't come to y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bang.
There's still that picture that's out there with Fat Mike in the ICB shirt.
Do you remember that?
Oh man, I do remember that.
At Exotica with the camera set up, waiting to do an interview.
Yeah, I think they were ICB cameras.
Yeah.
Pete, do you remember that?
Oh yeah. Bang. God's truth. A week ago, somebody was asking me a question about press and media credentials and stuff, and they said, "Pete, because albeit I'm not, like you 24/7 still in the game. I'm still doing stuff on the side." And somebody asked me advice, and I said, it's always, you got to hustle. You got to get what you want to get. But at the same time, you have to know who you're representing. And I said, fun fact, we almost had legal action taken against us because of Exotica. And you and I both got that call from the COOs of the company. Like, what, because it wasn't, again, I love Bill to the day I die. Bill's one of I give him credit all the time for guiding us like he did. And, he was, Bang and I were a filter, and then Bill was another filter before shit really hit fan. But one of the situations was, legally, you cannot have a school affiliated with a situation like that, we'll just say. And so there was accreditation issues where literally the school could have lost its accreditation for being affiliated with such things. And so, but Bill was like, okay, let me get in front of that. And Bang was like, let me get in front of that. But at the same time, there was a lot of accusations like, Bang and Pete, why did you sign the form? We didn't sign a form. And so Bang did some massive damage control over that situation.
No, it's the picture. That's how they found out. It's a picture.
Yeah.
I gotta find the picture.
Yeah.
But it's the picture with every last one of us.
Yeah.
With one of the ladies in Exotica. It's me.
Yep.
It's me. I think it's Frankie in that picture. KG's in that picture. Fat Mike's in that picture. I gotta find that picture. And if I find that picture, we can throw it up and then. But I think that was the clincher. It was like, but all of y'all were there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh,
we were all there. Some of us were probably with Pinky. Some of us were probably with Ron.
I think I was with all of them.
Good old times with KG.
And the thing is, I think at that time, we were all working there too. So that was the other thing that kind of saved us, because KG was working the front desk. He was a student assistant and everything. So that helped out. So yeah, that's another memory, because our show was like, hey, never again. Like, don't do it. I think KG might have been the only one that knew that. Wow. Because he was the one who was doing everything. So he just kept it to the auto show and the food joint with him and Dana and a couple other y'all.
Yeah. So. I got one more picture I want to pop up here and see if you guys got any memories about this picture right here.
Oh yeah.
Elliot.
That was our first live remote that we did with No One Radio, and that thing was like a cluster. Like, so look, I haven't really said too much about this, but I work in engineering for Odyssey. So seeing how things work, and then looking at that picture and knowing that I had a desktop computer out with me plugged into somebody's internet at their house so that we can broadcast live from the Puerto Rican Day Parade is, well, first it's amazing that was like even able to happen, that we were able to pull it off.
Came a long way, man.
And then secondly, I'm just like, holy, like the way things run, like that, you can never do that. Like you can't do that now.
At all.
Yeah. And if you remember, Elliot, that was actually in front of my cousin's. We were using my cousin's front porch.
Yeah, and they were throwing down on the grill too.
Man, and if you remember, it was me. And if you remember, to the left of me was Mike Shane. I was in the center, and KG was to the right. So remember, we were talking and everything. We were on air and everything. And God rest his soul, my great uncle, he walks through the door, the front door, and he starts screaming at my cousins, and you hear it on the air. He's like, "Hey, where you guys at? Hey!" And
almost everybody in that picture too is an ICB student, except for like one or two people.
Yeah. So we look at each other. We're like, "What the hell?" And Elliot's down. He's on the sidewalk and he's looking. He's like, "Just go with it. Just go with it, man." But man, that was a cool experience because KG was laughing and everything, and I think that was the first time he got a shot of Puerto Rican moonshine.
Ooh.
And I've never seen his eyes bulge out that big, because as soon as he took a shot, he and he was doing that for 20-30 minutes, and he didn't say anything. He's like, "Man,
that's good.
Nice. It's nice. We got to get here." But man, that was one of my all-time favorite moments, because I think it was last minute, wasn't it, Elliot? Like maybe 2 weeks before?
There's no on radio. Everything was last minute.
Yeah. You ain't lying about that.
You're in the know.
That's funny.
Hey, I want to apologize, guys. I had to go bribe him with a popsicle because he tried to get in his room and play with balls.
You're good.
So that's why I kept blocking out. So I apologize for that.
You're good. You're good.
I do a live show every Friday, and he never bothers me. But today, he want to bother me.
That's KG.
That's KG watching.
Yep.
The KG telling my son, "Hey, go ahead and message me."
Yep. But man, that memory was pretty dope, because to think of how we were at that time, Elliot, you were still GAing at that time. KG was still working at the school. I think I was working. Oh God, I was working at the damn Thompson Center. And we just like, man, let's see if it works. And it was magic, man. And that was pretty cool. It's unfortunate we never did that again, because that would have been if you had merchandise, because Elliot remembers we were telling a certain someone like, "Hey, we need T-shirts because it's gonna be a lot of traffic there," and they kept on refusing to work with us, and we're like, I told her, I was like, "Look, I live there. There's going to be a lot of cars. Like literally, you could have gave out 500 T-shirts, and they would have been gone within maybe 30 minutes, Elliot?"
Yeah, probably.
Easy. And they refused it. And we were there, and after we finished, we're just counting the cars. We're just like, we could have gave them a T-shirt. Like, T-shirt.
We were in and out of there with the camera, pulling people off for interviews.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, I wish and this is for a lot of y'all too. I'm glad you at Odyssey, DJ Epidemic, aka Intercom. Um, um, I would have loved to see Big Kev in a radio station. Like I would have loved to see him in,
Yeah.
like with what I do right now. I'm currently a regional online editor for Urban One, and I oversee stations all over the East Coast and in Indianapolis. And with the digital mind that he has, and that's the one thing. It's the one thing that used to get me mad about being at ICB, especially like knowing what I know now. And this is not to diss the school, because I'm not. I went there, and I'm not here if without them. But I think that we didn't focus a lot on the digital side. So for somebody like me who really started honing in on the digital side, Kevin started doing that for No One, and he started doing that for Logic. And I would have loved to see Kevin in a position like what I'm currently in, because I know he would have flourished on the digital side. Like when I used to come in and No
He the
One,
reason we did it.
right? Like I used to come in with No One and have like a whole bunch of stuff, and then next thing you know, like the next week, Kevin is regurgitating all of that stuff. And now being where I've been at for like 6 years now, a lot of stuff that we were doing, we do. We just do it. Like I know Elliot probably has some moments where he's at work and he's like, "Oh, I did that in 2014, blah blah blah. This is nothing."
Yeah.
And
I look
know
at.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I look at stuff now because we're a lot. We're in the group. We're in a lot of the group stuff with some pod, and with some dude and First Black Champ and all that other stuff. And when stuff breaks, I don't even go to post it anymore because I know it's already up. You know what I mean? So like
KG, like KG was that.
Yeah.
Even the videos that we did, the promo videos that we did for the show, I would never have thought to even just how we had you playing Tecmo Bowl in there. That was all KG was like, man, you should get a Bang to come in and play Tecmo Bowl. And
Bill's still trying to get to the bottom of this Exotica.
I know he is.
Okay. Kevin Smith was there. He wasn't involved with my show because that was my own personal brand. He wasn't involved with any of us. He was just there to enjoy.
Oh man, yeah,
like
Bill's gonna get us in trouble. Right
Oh man,
We
love Bill. Yeah, right. You're right about that. I wish Kevin was here because I know he would have flourished in a big company. I was at iHire for about 3 or 4 years, and there's a lot of things I did there that I actually learned, at ICB with Kevin. I would have never got the chance, to work on a big board for, V103 if it wasn't, for Kevin. I was shocked when I first seen the board, at State Street. I'm like, oh, what's this? And Kevin's like, take your time. It's not that hard. It's a couple buttons. You'll be all right, man. You'll be all right. And sure enough, when I got to iHeart and I seen the board, I'm like, well, I thought immediately of Kevin. I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be all right. It's good, and I thank him for that, because that was an experience, and I can say that I've been through because of Kevin.
yeah, a lot of it made me think of when I was at Logic and everything, and Elliot can attest to this, working with me and everything. A lot of stuff that he did rubbed off on me.
Yeah,
where it's like you get these ideas, and I think we all can relate to that. That he, that creativity where you start thinking of ideas just starts. Man, you know what? I should do this. I should do it. Man, we could do this. We could do this. We could do this.
exactly.
And it came from KG. Like that's how he was, and I find myself now. I'm like, damn, I'm acting like KG. Like, man, it's like, let me get a freaking dry erase board and write this stuff down. Like, damn. But man, his influence is. I mean, I owe him a lot of gratitude because if it wasn't for him, I would have never met Julio. I would have never met Danye, Elliot, Bang, or Pete. I would have just graduated from ICB and just that. But he was the bridge to you guys. So I mean, I'm eternally grateful for it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah. Another thing that I miss about Kevin is our chats, man. Our wrestling chats. You know, there's not one day that didn't go by we didn't talk about wrestling for like, 10, 15 minutes, whether it be about old school wrestling, current wrestling, and that was KG, wrestling. So
I would sit and watch you guys talk because by that time I was already years removed from wrestling. But I would just sit there and watch how you guys would be so enamored with it. And I'm like,
oh yeah.
Damn, am I missing out? Am I missing out? Do I need to go back and watch? But yeah.
You're kind of like that now, man. We were talking about this before the show.
Yeah, I still am. But I want to share that with my sons. My oldest boy, he ain't about to do it. But my youngest one, I kind of got him into boxing because, like I said, boxing was my first love, and that's what I started off as. But I want my youngest one. I want him to understand I want him to experience what I experienced during the Attitude Era.
Oh well, now's the time to tune into wrestling right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
My older son looks like King Kong Bundy right now.
I'm gonna say this because me and Jonathan Hood was talking about this. He actually texted me, Daniel, this is the best time as a black man to be a wrestling fan.
Yep.
Ever in life.
I can imagine. And speaking of that, he didn't pop back up over here.
Like, ever in life. Landon, me and Landon last night after Bobby Lashley won. No, I'm snapping. Landon loves Bobby Lashley. We're both yelling at the screen and all of that stuff. I was watching Impact Wrestling one day, and I filmed him having fun watching Dash and Chris Bay.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
And Bay,
that went viral.
Yeah, Bay did that. Like for a black kid, it is no better time. Ain't no Coco Bewares, and I like Coco Beware. Ain't no Coco Beware, son. Put him in front of that screen. He's gonna be well represented.
Yep.
You're
right about that, man.
I'm sure gonna do it. I'm sure.
Well, let's talk a little wrestling,
you guys. And he liked that little stuff. So yeah.
Did you guys get a chance to watch WrestleMania last night?
You goddamn right.
Yes.
I cried at the end. I'm not gonna lie. That the ending of that main event, I cried because I even put on social media. I kind of mentioned beforehand, like my daughter is obsessed with Bianca Belair right now. Like literally today, woke up and we rewatched the match, and she made my wife put the braid in her hair, and she just flicks it around, and it just shows that. And she's got the action figure already, and it just showed. Like I cried. Not only because it was such an emotional moment, I can't even begin to fathom, and I can't wait to hear what you guys say about this, but how it must have felt. It is nauseating that, when they make the comment, this is the first time in history it is two black people competing for a championship in a main event. 2 years ago, Kofi Kingston, first time ever, without counting a Rock or the Ron Simmons. Like, I can't even imagine what those moments last night must have felt like. I can't.
Yeah. Another person that was excited was Sasha Banks herself. You could tell in her face she was so happy for Bianca Belair. She was trying to keep kayfabe, but she was happy for her.
Which one of them are Snoop Dogg's cousin?
Sasha
Banks.
Sasha. Yeah. Okay. See, that's the extent that I know, right? But this is so interesting.
Yeah, for me, it was like I thought. I wasn't gonna do a pod today. Because we any day now with this baby.
Congratulations! I just saw that. I didn't know if it was real or he was playing. I thought this was an extended April Fool's.
Man,
no.
Look, brother, listen, we the same age. God bless you. I can't do it again.
I got another one on the way too, banging.
Yeah, look, I don't want to do this, but we gonna do it, and it's 3 boys, so this is crazy.
Oh man.
But as this was the greatest WrestleMania of all time for me, and I had to watch it one more time because I don't want to be the hot take guy. But I had to think about it. I think about it from a black fan perspective, and then just a wrestling fan perspective. From a black fan perspective, this was going to be the greatest WrestleMania of all time anyway, because somebody black was going to win the women's championship. Somebody black was going to have the tag team championship.
Yep.
All we needed was Bobby Lashley to win. But we said on First Black Champ, we didn't expect Bobby Lashley to win. We was hoping, but we didn't expect it. And not because he's black, because he's the heel. And at WrestleMania, the face normally goes over.
And the way they positioned Drew McIntyre made it look like he was going over.
Yeah. The WWE did an amazing job of making all of us believe that this man was going to lose that belt. And it wasn't just that he beat Drew McIntyre. It was how he beat Drew McIntyre. MVP didn't interfere. It wasn't no Bobby Heenan chicanery.
No.
He put him in the full Nelson and he put him to sleep. That's why my voice is the way it is right now.
I'm screaming a lot.
Because when that happened, like when he puts him in the full Nelson, all I'm thinking is, oh man, they're about to do the backflip. And he's gonna get pinned while he's in it. And then when that happened, and then he rolled him back, I was like, okay, they're gonna do the 3 joints and that 2.5. He's gonna be like, and that didn't happen. Then when he laid on top of Drew McIntyre while he's in the full Nelson, I'm sitting there like, they're not about to do it. They're not about to do it. They're not about to do it. Ref goes boom, boom, boom. My voice is gone. Greatest WrestleMania of all time. Even the terrible match had its moments, which was the tag team turmoil match because Mandy Rose failed.
So basically what you're telling me is that I need to go and sit my butt on the couch and watch.
Yeah.
I got it. Remember I told you earlier. I have ways.
I got chills from you, Bang, right now. Like literally, that was not only what you said, but to me, that's the greatest WrestleMania of our generation as a show itself. But all those moments, and here's another thing for, and I love that we're bringing wrestling into this. So I'm sitting there, and Bang, now that you're back, we'll have the kids watch wrestling together. It'll be great. Joy has already learned how to do the flare flop face first. It's great. Causes tears sometimes, but she's a fighter.
Oh man,
she also Trey did it.
Yeah,
Trey did it, and he now has a black eye, and I'm not even joking.
I believe it. I believe it.
He does the face flop.
Yep. So, and then when she takes a bump on her back, she calls it exploding. So, they don't call it, the feds on me that I'm a horrible parent. Anyway, but we're watching that opening match together. And here is exactly what you guys were talking about on the opposite side. So he's got that kimono lock in. All right. He's got, and he's hurting his arm. He's hurting his arm. And Eric, and I just go, damn it. And Erica, my wife, goes, well, what do you mean? I go, well, that Drew's going to win. She goes, what do you mean Drew's going to win? We're only halfway through the match. I said, okay, here's Vince's thinking is he's got the kimono lock in. It's going to hurt his arm. So that way in 10 minutes, when he goes to put the full Nelson on like the Warlord in 1990, he's not going to be able to hold it because his arm's hurt. He's going, and he's going to turn around, kick in the face, done. When that did not happen, that is the first time of that show I cried multiple tears because I'm like, oh my God, they let the story tell itself and didn't do something that Warlord did 30 years ago.
That's awesome.
Hey, Julio.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can you bring up the comment? We actually had KG's mom comment on this video. She knows about this and everything.
Yeah.
So that reminded me of when Stone Cold was up against.
Where did she comment at? I'm sorry.
Facebook.
Yeah, it's not on here.
Up against the.
It's not on stream.
Why can't I remember his name right now? I'm horrible. I'm horrible with names. He's in the sharpshooter, and he passes out. Bret Hart, yeah.
Bret Hart.
And he passes out. So when he gets when all of a sudden I see, because I'm with Ben and we're watching it, and when the Kimura's in and he grapevines the legs, I'm like, oh no. When he grapevines them at the waist, I'm like, come on, man, really? I was so shocked. Like I was like, oh, Vince he swerved me on this one. Like, every now and then he will get it right, and especially lately. But I mean, other than the match order, last night was like the perfect wrestling event.
Man.
Yep.
And you know
go ahead, Bang.
What's wild about that? It was the rain delay.
Yeah.
So even during the rain delay, they got it right.
Yeah.
Because
unscripted promos.
So you had to go out there and you had to talk. It was even one point where Sarah Schreiber was on the wrong side, and Drew was like, "No, over here."
Yeah. See, I remember that part.
Keep going, but yeah, like even that part, but like from top to bottom, like this was the best. And I mean, no disrespect to no wrestler. I'm not hot taking here. I've watched every last WrestleMania more than 5 times. I can damn near give you script to script every match that ever happened at WrestleMania. When I looked at what I saw last night, and one thing that I told Kemp from the port today on First Black Champ, the other important part about this is the fans. Now, y'all Puerto Rican, right?
That's what I was gonna say.
So, if you didn't notice this during the Bad Bunny match, go back and watch it. It seems like the cameraman and the director found every Puerto Rican.
I did see that.
You see that? I'm like, yo, every time I turn the camera around, I'm like, yo, it's another Puerto Rican. It's like, it's lit here at WrestleMania.
It's Florida. They're all down there.
I'm like, yo, they're getting, even the presentation is making this great because they seem like they found every last Puerto Rican between rows 1 through 5 to show a reaction anytime Bad Bunny or Damian Priest did something. And even in the Sasha Bianca Belair match, the hard camera looked like a boxing match because anytime something happened, that whole area was like,
yep.
Oh,
I got some right.
It's lit. And I think that was mostly like the West Side Gun, Wale crowd.
Yep.
That was lit. So wrestling is great, but it's fantastic.
I think he's breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I had said on the show today that I believe this.
Yeah, that's KG, man.
That's KG right there. That's KG messing with us.
He's messing with us, man. There we go.
It's cool. He'll pop back in, man.
So I wanted to read. KG's mom, she actually commented on my Facebook post and everything.
Before you get there, guys, I want to say thank you. The little boy is taking over, and I got some business I have to attend to that's coming up.
Brother.
All right, man.
Hey, KG, I know you hear us, man. We love you. I love all of y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Love you, brother.
Y'all know how to reach me. I know how to reach y'all. And I'm going to watch this wrestling tonight. Yeah. And I'm going to watch the one from last night. So I can actually be on here and have something to say. I love y'all, man. Peace.
Love you too, boss.
Man.
Yep.
Cool, man. Thank you, Danya, for popping up with us.
Thank you, man. Thank you. All right, so this is what she put, Julio. This is wonderfully beautiful. You're capturing his love of wrestling, WrestleMania, with no male influence in his life. I took him to his first live show, hoping to reinforce my arguments that it wasn't real. Nope, it reinforced his love of it. Wrestling with his big Hulk buddy. As a proud person, mother of this unusual soul, thanks to all 6 of you gentlemen of radio. Peace.
I want to say he was at WrestleMania 3 in Detroit. I think he said. I think he mentioned to me that he was at that WrestleMania.
Wow.
So
I think so.
So
that's from his mom. Thank you. If she's watching, Margot, thank you so much. She actually gave us. I asked her her permission before I did this and got you guys all together and everything. And she's like, "Go ahead." So, thank you. Cool. So what else are we going, Julio? I kind of lost.
Yeah, we're talking KG. We're talking WrestleMania. Like the gentleman said, yesterday's WrestleMania is probably by far the best WrestleMania that they had in a long time. There's been a lot of WrestleManias I've questioned, but this WrestleMania, you're coming back from a pandemic, with actual people there, not just virtually. They did something that a lot of other companies are aspiring to do right now. And I think this is for WWE, this is the best time to be a wrestling fan. And KG would have loved to be here with us right now to talk wrestling.
Oh man, especially with the 12 companies that exist now.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and I know Bang had mentioned it earlier, but my daughter also likes watching some Impact with me. And look at who you got as a champ right now. You got Rich Swann, and that guy's all over the place. He's awesome. He's going to compete against Kenny Omega, in a few weeks here. Like, as you said, and Hood probably text you and then text me that he texted you, but same conversations I have with him. Like the representation right now, and I don't want to say this incorrectly, but it has finally reached a point where the talent is allowed to be the talent.
Yep.
And if you are the champ, if you are championship material, you are getting that opportunity, and you are able to headline WrestleMania, no matter the color of your skin, where that unfortunately mattered up until a few years ago with countless companies. And so,
But you know what, Pete? And I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yeah.
And I'm a reason why I'm gonna stop you right there, because you're white.
Yeah.
And you're gonna understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Might not be the best thing to say, but you're gonna understand. I never got mad about that because the demo is you.
Okay.
If you go to a wrestling match, I'm gonna see 90 you, 10 of me.
Mm-hmm.
And the 10 of me are probably gonna be together. Like, I think we've all went to wrestling matches.
Oh yeah.
And we see the demo. So I can never get mad at Vince McMahon for not having a champion that represents this demo.
Yeah.
Like, even when you look back at the champions, like in hindsight, you could go back and be like, okay, I understand why he did that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only thing I would have never understand, and this is if you listen to something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, and they did the Tito Santana episode, and they said that Tito Santana was the other person that they looked at possibly giving the belt to instead of Bret Hart.
Wow.
I wouldn't have never understood why Tito Santana would have been a champ.
Mm.
But then when you think about it, Tito Santana was like the longest employee.
Yeah.
Been a former Intercontinental champion. So, like, sometimes we look at things as it happened and we react. But then when we look back and you're like, how can Bad News Brown ever go over on Hulk Hogan?
Oh, can't happen.
1989.
Exactly.
Come on. Like, I'm black. I love Black Bad News Brown. Even I would have been like, yes, but why?
Mm-hmm.
So I think what has happened is because of the George Floyd situation and because of other countless situations, people are more vocal, and they're more vocal inside of the building as well.
Mm.
Like, for example, JBL pissed me off yesterday during the pre-show when he said, this is not Black history, it's just history. Like, who are you to tell me that this is not Black history when
Exactly.
Black women, because history fact, ladies and gentlemen, who's watching this, the first Black man to win a match at WrestleMania is Junkyard Dog. It's through countout, though. On that same card, Special Delivery Jones is beat in 8 seconds.
Yep.
WrestleMania 2, George Wells gets beat by Jake the Snake. The first time we see two Black men go up against each other at WrestleMania is WrestleMania 3. That's Butch Reed versus Coco Beware.
Yep.
Next time we see Butch Reed, he loses to the Macho Man at WrestleMania 4. We don't see Coco Beware until WrestleMania 5. He loses to Rick the Model Martel. The first Black man to main event WrestleMania in a one-on-one match is Lawrence Taylor, a football player. This is things that when you look in hindsight, you're like, oh man, but Coco Beware will never main event a WrestleMania in my eyes, and he shouldn't.
Yeah.
So you start looking and you see The Rock and everything, and all of that's cool, but Rock went into WrestleMania as the champ and lost that belt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but now the audience has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even in rap, you see more rappers showing their love for the sport, and not like your most popular rappers, Rappers like Westside Gun and the folks at Griselda love wrestling, and they're not afraid to show it by putting wrestlers as the name of their songs. Who are you think in the front row with these cats? You got Wale doing Wale Mania. The WWE sees that. They ain't stupid because they got to license some of the Wale Mania gear that's coming down because he's using those wrestlers and some of their gear. So I also believe that they're not stupid. They see what Wale has done. They see what these other cats are doing. And they also see what Sasha and Big E and all of these cats are doing. But these cats wasn't doing that then. They were, in a sense, falling in line. Like, I'm trying to be on the card, basically. Like, you not
trying to get paid.
Right. Only saying what? I'll worry about that in 10 years. But I'm good. I'm just going to get on this card. Now you see Big E doing the stuff with Black History Month with the GoFundMe that he did. You see Sasha that's doing Star Wars. You see Bianca Belair and her doc and how it really catapulted her. You see all of these things. Pete, you're still the demo, but now you are telling Vince that I like them. And I don't think that's what didn't I think that's what didn't happen years ago. Before, like they like The Rock, but that's it. Now you are saying, man, I cried doing Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. I cried seeing Bobby Lashley win the championship. I cheered when Omos won the tag team championship. I really want to see what a Nigerian drum match is. I still
oh my God.
We're going to talk about that right now, too.
Yes.
I still think that's about to be a Wakanda match, but that's just a long-winded way of saying, Pete, thank you and white people everywhere for acknowledging these black wrestlers, because without you, Vince and company is going to stick with the status quo.
Sure. Well, and I think that goes back to what Dedrian was saying. Like, there's 12 companies out there, and there's unlimited ways to watch now. So now I could go watch ROH. I could watch New Japan. I could watch MLW. You know, I could even watch NWA
Flores.
Power. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Impact.
Like, there's so many different outlets and so many different federations now that I could watch. It's almost like how it was in the Federation days.
It's the return to the territories.
Definitely. You know what I mean? So now the WWE can't hide behind, hey, this is our star. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get on a boat with when people are saying, no, he's cool, but I want to see him wrestle him. You know, so, you know, I just think that because there's more availability now and a lot more of people of color that want to wrestle and that are learning and putting in their dues, I think now you're starting to see that in the product.
So what's a Nigerian drum fight?
We should find out tonight.
Hey,
do you know what Nigerian drum fight?
No, but I will say this. I was live in person for not one, but both ever Punjab prison matches that happened live. I went and saw both live. So, you know, I can say I've seen that, but I do not know what this is. Well, I can say it was probably better watching from home because when both, and here's why, and I'm just being honest with you, and when you have both of those structures, because it was a cage, a bamboo cage inside of a bamboo cage. So you had all that wood crossing over each other. You couldn't see the wrestlers. Like you're doing one of these, like trying to see Batista almost kill himself.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So, but I could say, you know, hashtag I was there.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know, you know, as long as it's better than a exploding barbed wire death match, AEW, Eddie Kingston. But
I want to say I was at the pay-per-view when was it right before they started doing the Saudi Arabia shows, and they gave my man from 3MB the belt.
Jinder. Don't hinder Jinder, baby.
I was there when Jinder beat AJ for the belt.
Wow.
Oh man.
Really?
And I was like, I looked at my son, I was like, really? I apologize, my guy. Like,
like, you know why I wasn't mad about all. I wasn't mad about that, and here's where it's kind of going with things last night, and not to try to correlate, but just a small sense. I wasn't mad about that because it was something different. It wasn't. don't get me wrong. Randy Orton, RKO. I'm going to be watching that match tonight. I know my daughter's got her little Alexa Bliss headband, and she's going to be wearing. It's going to be scary. My point is, we don't need a Randy Orton 13th title reign because we know he's one of the best already. Give him something a little bit different. I like Jinder winning. It was something different. That's what I think in a very, very small sense, seeing that allowed for an ascension, like not the group ascension, but ascension like a Bianca Belair. Because, I don't read the dirt sheets per se, but I see everything that happens on Twitter. And I think something that happened on Twitter last night was people shocked in the sense that, well, she never won an NXT title. How can she be given the big strap right away? And you know
Becky
what? That doesn't matter anymore. Because now what matters is, do you have the talent? Will you draw? Will you get that crowd reaction? And Jinder got a negative reaction. People hated it. But they also knew, like Banks said, it's a business decision. They were about to do a 6-month tour overseas, including multiple stops in India. They made a lot of money over Don't Hinder Jinder.
Yeah,
so,
no, for sure.
Yeah. That's why one day, Dedrian, I what I need you to do is put together and Bang, you have to be there because we know, I don't talk as much as we used to. We need a WrestleMania 9 recap with all the intricacies, because I didn't know until the other day that Papa Shango and Tito Santana had a dark match before that one. But the part that always gets me is, especially watching the Yokozuna documentary that they just released, is yes, it was booking dumb to make Hogan the champ, but when you made all that money going over to the UK for that summer tour,
yeah,
you know what I mean? I believe Bruce Pritchard, you mentioned him earlier. I mean, the man was there. So when he says Hulk's going to come back, he's going to run with the strap for a few months overseas and then give it away. I'm not saying the aftermath was the right thing to do, but again, the money was there at the time.
Yeah, and to that point, that's why I no longer get caught up on those things.
Yeah.
Because using Jake the Snake Roberts for an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ain't never sniff a title match of any kind, let alone the belt. And it was at one point that Jake was number 2. While he was number 2, the number 2 face, while Hulk Hogan was number 1. I think sometimes we get too caught up in that. With that being said, like Bianca Belair wins last night. She never held the NXT championship. Becky didn't either.
Mm-hmm.
Like Becky didn't either. I think sometimes we look at NXT. Yeah, and yes, Alexa Bliss also.
Yep.
And
Thanks,
Alexa
Lord.
Bliss was somebody is the perfect example of, oh, we didn't expect this.
Yep.
When she got drafted, we was like, why she get drafted? Like, we didn't care about none of that. But I think sometimes we, especially with NXT, we see what they did there and we expect the same thing to be done. That's why me and Camp are making the shirt that says everybody can't be champ, because especially when you are in a big organization, when you're a small fish in a big pond, it's going to be easy to get swallowed up in that. So to Elliot's point, like having all of these organizations enables you to leave. You're not going to be in the same position you was in the E, because that's still the big fish. But I could go up in there and I can re-hone and redo everything that I wanted to do or figure it out. Yeah. And then next thing you know, 3-4 years down the line, I'm back in the E in a better position than I was when I left.
Yep.
So the territory situation, we're back to the mini territories, and I'm just happy to see wrestling every day of the week.
Yeah, 5 days. Yeah, it's literally, it's 5 days a week. There's at least 2 shows every day. And what's cool about it is that they're not cross, like, promoting and everything. So, like, on Monday, you're going to have Evolution at, 6? Yeah. Then Raw. Then Tuesday, NWA Power. Then NXT. Then Wednesday, MLW. Then AEW. Then Thursday, you're going to have NXT UK. Then Impact. Then Friday, you're going to have SmackDown. Then right after SmackDown, you're going to have New Japan Strong. And I think it's going to be Ring of Honor. I don't know what station they're.
Question: have y'all watched the Chris Jericho joint yet?
I'm halfway through.
I started to watch it this morning, but I didn't finish.
Halfway through.
Yeah.
Look, that just shows you also, Vince McMahon don't care about none of y'all. when he let Chris Jericho talk how he was talking in that joint,
Yeah.
I was like, oh. But I also said this: the WWE is the ESPN of wrestling. This is this is my dream, and let me see what y'all think.
Okay.
The bump should be the Sports Center of wrestling,
Yes.
not of the WWE, but of wrestling.
Yeah.
Yep.
You should be able to bring in other people and organizations, do the same thing they do right now, update us on cards and everything, because
Yep.
I feel that the WWE is now ESPN. Now, everybody else ain't. They're just wrestling organizations. But the WWE is now to a point where they're Disney, they're ESPN, they are Paramount Plus,
Pixar.
They are the org, and they just so happen to have wrestling. So I think the Trump here is I use the bump as my ESPN Sports Center, and it helps out everybody in wrestling because now you have a show dedicated to that, and then they bring back the joint that was on Fox with Renee Young, and that's your night show. That's your night show. But that's what I would do if I was running the E. Am I crazy?
Well, no, and what they're doing is with them getting all the video rights to all these small companies. WWE now owns Evolve. They own what was it? MXXL, I think. Like they own a bunch of different federations now. It's just like when they were helping out ECW. It's that type of situation where I can see that, how AEW kind of like has put it the face forward as far as like, yeah, we're going to start messing with New Japan and we're doing with Impact. But WWE's kind of been doing that low key behind the scenes for a very long time. And when they made the move to Peacock, I had to explain it to my son. He's like, why? Because I was watching Wrestle Talk do a live reaction. And I told him, I said, they're watching this on the WWE network. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, Vince is very smart when it comes to money. Because originally the WWE network was supposed to be for free and he was going to license the pay-per-views. Yeah. So like Monday Night Football, the WrestleMania would have been USA Networks for 10 years or whatever.
Yep.
That's what he was going to do with the Big Four. It didn't work out that way, but now you could kind of see with the Peacock move how his original plan would have definitely changed the way wrestling is. It probably would have got them to where AEW is quicker.
Yeah.
But, some things just happen. I just think that when it comes to marketing, Vince is still one of the best when it comes, because he knows what his properties are worth. But, can't be good at everything sometimes.
Yeah. And what I like about it is, to piggyback on what you said, Bang, actually, I was having the same discussion with Julio that wrestling needs a sports center. You have like 12 companies. Like, how is nobody capitalizing on all these?
In Canada.
Yeah. In America, in America, I mean, so you got, so right now we got what? AEW, we got New Japan, we got Impact, we got NWA, Ring of Honor, AAA, you got CMLL, you got Ring of Honor, you got New Japan, you got All Japan, you got Dragon Gate, you got, I know I'm forgetting something, GCW and everything. So you got legit 15. It's like that's enough content to do a sports center every night.
Definitely.
And I agree.
I think the difference, again, we know it all comes down to money, but I think ultimately it's how are you going to keep the eyes? Meaning knowing that if you're doing a sports center and you're talking basketball, you're talking about the NBA, maybe talking about other stuff, NCAA. I think the issue would come down to ultimately is how do you keep that wrestling fan? All right, I like AEW. Okay, I
Yeah.
like AEW. I'm watching for AEW content, but now you're talking about one of these other 15 that I've never heard of. Where's the correlation? And I think that's why Vince has bought those properties for the stuff that you can go watch some of his NXT UK people, or you can watch Finn Balor from 10 years ago. I think that's why he purchased some of that footage, so you can give that lineage or that that linear tendency. But I think, and ultimately, a challenge for that facetious show would be, how do you keep that interest when you start talking about this other stuff? If I don't care about it, that's why, like, I think, and I know this is Rasslin talk, but I know Busted Open, for example, I'm a regular listener to them because they do that on an audio aspect, and our guy Hood as a fill-in host, and they do that, and they do that better than anybody else. Think about it. Who are your two executive producers for The Bump? It was Dave LaGreca's two executive producers for Busted Open a year ago. So Vince was like, I want to do something like that, but I want to do it for ourselves. And so I think, not to say it's kind of competition. Heck, this week, the replacement producer, Gabby, was the kickoff host on the panel for NXT TakeOver. And so it exists, but again, like at what aspect? Because then, in the down season, when, there aren't these major things hitting, what do? They do a lot of Legends interviews. You know what I mean? So there's a place for it, but I think, okay, Jericho podcast, and so I'm not talking about everything. I'm only halfway through, but one of the biggest things that I love so far was him saying, if it wasn't for the TV deal, he may not have done AEW. And why is that so important? It's a similar situation to this story you're talking about right now. Unless there is a deal with somebody that's actually going to push through with this, regardless of how it goes, it's there. But, Bang, I'm still waiting for you to be a fill-in guest over on Busted Open one day.
Hey, man, I told Hood to let them know. Just have Mark Henry call me.
Yeah.
Yeah, just have Mark Henry call me. But I got to get out of here, guys.
Yeah,
I got to go put a bed together. But before I go, I just want to say thank y'all for having me on the show.
No problem, man. Thank you.
Man. Appreciate
and of course,
you.
plug Some Dude Pod with Mike B, and First Black Champ, Camp for the Port. Check us out wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Just search out Some Dude or Barbershop Digital, because that's where the home of First Black Champ is. Want to say congratulations to you all, because I've been gone for about 6 years. Just got back, but it's definitely good. Especially it's good to see you, Don Julio, Dedrian, doing this podcast. It makes me proud because I always tell y'all to make sure I keep that going. Pete, you still doing volleyball?
I think he's muted.
He's muted.
He's muted
himself.
You muted me. I'm tired of hearing myself too.
I feel you.
Yeah, no, this season they didn't do a lot of live stuff, so hopefully next season.
Pete is the only person I knew that worked for the Big East.
Hey,
I mean, hey, and Elliot, man, shouts out to you with everything that y'all doing with Logic Radio, and having the big job being an engineer at Intercom, aka Odyssey. But the last thing is, I know y'all doing this for Kevin. And Kevin is definitely very influential in everybody's lives. Was talking to Miriam earlier today, and Miriam was talking about that as well, about how she loved Kevin. Kevin was very influential to a lot of people at ICB. They loved him, and with us as well. So it's definitely good that y'all keeping the big homie alive through memory. So salute to y'all.
Thank you, Bang.
Thank you,
Thank you, brother.
All right,
Cool,
man.
man.
I'm gonna holler at y'all.
We'll be in touch,
All right.
Bang. Thanks a lot, man.
No problem.
Go finish that G-Pan.
Yeah. Hey, so we haven't gone to the the preview.
Hey, before we get out of here, man, before we get everyone pops off on us, let's talk about WrestleMania tonight, our predictions. So let's start with this match right here. We're talking Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax versus Tamina and Natalya. My money is going on Tamina and Natalya.
I'd like it. I'd like it to be Tamina. And I'm just a sucker, I guess, that Elliot and I are still around. But I was actually going to make the joke earlier that, one of my favorite things of KG was, hustling out Elliot's, copies of New Japan that he ripped while sitting at the front desk of LaSalle. But that's how we saw stuff back then. You know what I mean? But
kind of still do.
Yeah. Hey, you find a way, man. You sometimes you got to find a way. Like I legit. One of my buddies, I know he listens to you guys, and I'll have to make sure he invites all y'all to his group. But Chris Spencer runs a Facebook group, like I think it's New Wrestling Undisputed, and he's really active on it. Point of it all is Tamina has gotten such a push right now. She's finally healthy, and here's somebody. I always talk in terms of figures. Like here's somebody that literally has had a 13-year career and has only had 2 figures ever come out. And now she's changed her gear. She's with Natty. My only hesitation, again, this is the perception of things. Okay. I really thought Drew McIntyre was going to win yesterday because of the perception of how the match was going. I really felt Bianca was going to win the whole time because of how Sasha looked at the belt. Okay. If I take the belt, the way Sasha held it up that one last time to look at it, I'm like, she's dropping it tonight. Now, with that being said, the way Tamina got that tag last night to do the Superfly Splash, that might have been that WrestleMania moment for her. And then you keep Jax on top with Shayna. I don't know. That's a little thing I look at.
Elliot?
I would have to see. Is that going to be early on the card? Because I would have to really see how things go with the Raw women's match tonight, because I think Becky is coming back, and then if that happens, Shayna might jump into the picture. So I could see them dropping the belts.
Okay, all right, let me check really quickly, Elliot. So you see Becky coming as like a run-in to give the tag belts? No. Is that what I'm gathering? I'm sorry.
I'm trying to see if the women's title match is before the tag team match.
Between Asuka and Ripley.
Yeah, because when Asuka won the Money in the Bank with the women's belt, it was because Becky was pregnant.
Yeah.
So she gave her the belt. So if Becky's coming back tonight, I would like to think it would be for that belt.
She wants to take it from Asuka.
Or Ripley.
I would think she'd want to take it from Asuka. It would be more drama if she tried to take it from Asuka. Look, I gave this to you, like, just wanted you to hold it. Like, I don't want it back now. Like,
yeah, it's hard to imagine. And again, talking about Vince, it's hard to imagine Vince putting 2 rookies over for championships at the same pay-per-view.
Well, he did Cena and Batista.
Well, I think Rhea Ripley should have won last year, but that's
Yeah,
she should have been on the main roster already. What are you doing, D? What about you, man? What's your choice?
I'm gonna go with Jackson Natty. Seeing how they've kind of teased, they brought Reginald.
Jackson Natty.
Yeah. Oh God. Seeing how they brought Reginald, or as God, I can't stand Reginald. That guy's freaking annoying. But seeing how they brought him with Nia Jax as her boy toy and everything, you can see that they've been teasing the split. Like Nia Jax is going to do her thing. So I kind of see it as Natalya and Tamina. Like they've been teasing that they're like the new Yokozuna and Owen Hart. As far as that aspect, they've been posting on social media.
I just think Shayna needs to start running through the women's division.
Yes, again,
like she did in NXT.
Yeah, I mean, I get it when it, like, Vince doesn't see like the whole picture with Shayna.
We need that killer back.
She's not marketable, I guess, in his eyes, but she's a fantastic wrestler, and they don't have that in the women's division. They neutered Asuka. You let Charlotte go back and forth between shows. You know, Rhea Ripley's going to do some damage, but the women's division on both sides are they're starting to fall back into what they were doing before, and I think that might change after tonight. But we'll just have to see how things go.
Cool. I got a projected lineup. Now I'm going to share this. This is from Fox Sports, so kind of reputable. Okay, this isn't some dirt sheet. Projected lineup. Show starts with the women's tag team championship match. goes to U.S. Championship, then Zayn versus Owens, then the IC match, then Bray versus Orton, then Asuka, Rhea Ripley, and then close the show Reigns, Edge, Bryan.
Dude, I think I uploaded the pictures in that order.
Let's see.
I uploaded those pictures in that order. Mind you, Pete,
Yeah.
I uploaded this like at, was it 9 o'clock this morning, Julio?
Yeah. So
I didn't even look at any. I just had a feeling. Look, this is how they're gonna do it. Boom, boom, boom. Damn, I need to start working for them, man.
There you
What the
go.
hell?
So I don't know. So I can. I don't know. I could see Shayna and them retaining then. Like it just. Yeah, I can. I think that now that we kind of know a match order, I think all the it's going to be typical. Like every year, everything's going to happen on Raw, and so.
What about this next one?
Becky might show up, but I don't think it's going to be a big a deal.
What I find interesting, and I know you have that graphic up, I find it interesting, and again, this is no knock to any of the performers, but again, going off of what that hour of the Jericho thing I got so far, it's very interesting that they have Riddle, Sheamus projected as 2 in the sense that you don't have a lot of heavy hitters in a row. This is no knock to the performers. My point is, okay, you're starting with the tag team championship. Good. There's a lot of projection with that one. But then you're going U.S. belt. You're going Sammy Owens, IC belt, Bray Orton. So it's like a lull kind of in there. And again, I don't mean it in a bad way. That's a lull. But I think maybe another mindset is then you're ending with your 3 biggest ones of, Bray Orton, women's belt, universal belt. So I don't know.
Well, I know that there was only one match yesterday that went over 15 minutes. All the other matches were 15 minutes or under.
Yeah.
So I know that Daniel Bryan match is probably going to be a good 30 minutes.
Sure.
Easily.
Weather permitting.
Exactly.
So I didn't see the weather report for today.
It's raining now.
It's
Tampa.
worse than yesterday.
Really?
Ooh.
So
well, what's funny is my dad is in Tampa and is flying back tonight. He booked this before they decided to do in-person WrestleMania, and so I said, well, if you don't make it back tonight, I understand, because it's a lot of people trying to leave, and not only that, but with the weather, that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be interesting.
Let's move on with our predictions. I know I put this graphic up earlier, but we have Sheamus and Mr. Bro, Matt Riddle. Who do we got here?
I got Riddle. He's got the rocket strapped to him right now. Yep. Like the man flubbed up a promo with Asuka, which could have gotten people, it could have gotten people fired back in the day. Yeah. But for some reason, Vince,
he loved it.
I think he wants to hit certain demographics, and Riddle hits a certain demographic, so let's just go with it.
A 420 graphic.
Yeah.
He wants that community.
Bro! He was actually this morning. He was on the bump with RVD.
Oh, really?
That's dope.
Yes, they showed. I was like, please put them as a tag team.
What about you, D? Who are you going for, Matt Riddle or Sheamus?
Bro,
you going, bro?
Bro.
Yeah, I'm going with.
That's
Riddle.
my guy.
I think Riddle's gonna ease. Yeah, I think he's gonna beat Kings of New York, Sheamus.
All right. I think I'm the oddball here because I'm going for Sheamus.
I think that they kind of put Sheamus in a bad spot when he lost the Drew McIntyre stuff. They could have told a better story there. So now I think he's kind of floating around. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this WrestleMania has been like one of the worst build-ups. Like leading up to it is like one of the worst. It was like
they didn't know if they were gonna be able to have people. They wanted like 35, 40,000 people. They were only able to get 25,000.
That's still a lot of people, man.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons why they, if you remember, they announced that the tickets were going on sale, but then they didn't announce the date, was because they never signed the contract as far as reserving Raymond James Stadium. So they put it out there as like, oh wait, we kind of need to sign this before we start selling tickets.
I got Matt Ward's going with me. He's going with Sheamus for this one.
All right, so what we got next?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I want Sheamus, but you got to predict where the money's going to go.
All right. Next, we have Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Ooh, it's a tough one here, man. Sammy's
I
been
hope
on
it goes
fire with
fast.
TV.
I just hope it goes fast. I love Sammy. I love what both of them do. This is kind of just a throw together. I mean, if I were to predict, probably Kevin Owens because KO Mania, it's kind of a thing. But because Sammy can always lose, and you're still gonna like him. Sammy and Dolph Ziggler. There's your two workhorses. They can literally lose a million times and still do the job. So
Sami Zayn reminds me of someone that works in Wicker Park that owns a record shop.
I'm going with Sami Zayn on this one, though.
I'm going with KO.
Are you?
KO?
Does Logan Paul have any influence in this?
He's gonna be there. I mean, this might be another Mickey Rourke situation where he's at ringside, jumps over, knocks out Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I love Sammy. I unfortunately love El Generico more, so I'm gonna go with KO.
Cool. All right, so everyone's going with KO?
Yep.
Oh, this next one, the drummers match. I don't know what's worse, the name of the match or his accent. I'm gonna go with Big E on this one, man. Big E just got so much fire in him right now, man. I'm going with Big E.
It's hard to go against Big E. I mean, although, with Apollo, since they changed his voice and everything, it's maybe they give it to him. I mean, you did see Big E really hype up New Day yesterday, so maybe he rejoins the 3-man faction.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Apollo. I think Apollo's been around for a minute. I'm gonna go with Apollo on this one. It's a good thing I'm not betting. I'd probably get them all wrong.
What you got, Elliot?
Look at me. I'm the captain now.
You're going with Apollo.
Apollo, yeah. If you look at the last match, you can kind of tell that this was just kind of building to WrestleMania. He was disqualified, and the ending of that match was weird. Was it Fastlane or whatever? I can see this. I would love to see what a Nigerian drum match is. It's probably not what a Nigerian drum match is in real life. But yeah, I think Apollo's going over.
Yeah, I think Apollo's gonna win. I know he's lost 6, 7 straight matches.
Wow.
To Big E for the IC strap. So actually no, he's lost 6 in a row. So this is number 7. So this might be his lucky moment, the crowning of the Nigerian king, or the prince, or whatever he is.
Prince, man. Let's go on to the next one. The Fiend, the new Fiend versus Mr. Randall Keith Orton. What are you guys going with?
I like what Elliot was kind of mentioning at some point about, where to go with things in terms of, win-loss. I would like, again, just to go what I was talking about with don't hinder gender, I'd like to see something different, and maybe, there you go. That Matt Ward with the reverse psychology of if you have a live performer performing your song, you lose. So that
yeah, makes sense.
There is some truth to that.
We're not Hex.
But ultimately, when it comes to this situation, I'd like to see Randy join this hybrid Fiend Wyatt family and have the Fiend go over. Randy doesn't need to win anymore. But if Vince has got another storyline ready for him, Randy's going to win and Fiend's going to be doing his thing. But I'm going with Fiend on this one. I'm going with Fiend. Fiend's has had so many major losses in a row at major pay-per-views that Vince seems to be giving people their due right now. So I see the Fiend.
I could see the extra crispy Fiend going over.
Crispy Fiend. Crispy Fiend.
I think there's going to be more of a story between him and Alexa Bliss or Sister Abigail. from there. You know what I mean? Like they don't need they don't need any kind of help getting over either. So this just happens to be a match. It's probably one too many in the series for them, but what up? Thanks, brother. Yeah, I think Bray's or the Fiend is going over. I think that they're gonna go from there and do something with between him and Alexa, and go from there.
What about Bo Dallas? You guys see him in this?
Well,
that would be good.
Rumor is that he might have been the guy in the extra crispy Fiend suit, because he's still employed with WWE. So, you know what I mean? Like, we'll see. I don't see why they haven't done it yet. Like, he should have been, and I think he was pitched to be in the original Wyatt family. So, like, they wanted to do it with everyone, with IRS. Like, it was going to be the whole family. It was going to be all the Rotundas, and
nice.
They were going to do the Wyatt family thing, and I, they came out with a different outcome, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the Fiend just because, they can do so much with these guys, but, they're doing the same thing over and over with Randy Orton and the Fiend, and I just don't see Randy Orton going anywhere else in this storyline. They're doing too much to make the Fiend, this to put them in our TVs, to put them in our faces. I don't think they're going to make them lose.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the burnt Ewok.
Cool. The Wookiee.
Yep. Going with the Wookiee. With the burnt Ewok. Yes.
Cool. With this next one right here, man, I'm excited for this one because I'm a big Asuka fan and I'm a big Rhea Ripley fan, but I'm definitely going with Asuka on this one. I like Rhea. I see a lot of potential for Rhea, but I don't think she's going to get the big one tonight.
I'm going off of what Elliot said, and Elliot, just so you know, I miss talking wrestling with you, so this needs to happen more often. Dedrian's always posting about wrestling stuff that I don't see at 2 a.m. But anyway, I knew Becky was going to have a part in this weekend. I really felt it, especially, again, I'm on the IG all the time now. Hashtag my IG is wrestling shirt dude, if you don't follow. But anyway, when she posted a workout picture yesterday and today already, I'm like, there's got to be something. So your theory of her running in somewhere with Asuka, it makes too much sense. And usually you're right. So I'm taking Asuka over on Rhea.
Yes.
Because don't forget, Rhea was the throw-in. It was supposed to be Lacey Evans and or Charlotte.
Yeah,
pregnancy, COVID, and so that's why I wouldn't be shocked if you see Io Shirai after her loss last week to Raquel coming and being the Raw debut even.
Yeah, I hope she goes to SmackDown though.
I do too. There's a huge gap, and then we can have a whole show about that. Dedrian set that one up. You got your co-hosts right here about the influence of Japanese female wrestling right now in 2020 to 2021.
Maki Ito.
There is a gap that Kairi Sane left, and it may not be a big one, but
it's there.
There's because here's somebody that Mae Young Classic, first ever Women's Royal Rumble found the day before, tag champs, all this other stuff, and I get it. Want to start a family, did her thing, but they still have, and Io Shirai and her had a great rivalry, but there's still that gap right now. So I think Shirai kind of coming up. I can see that happening.
What you got, Elliot?
You're going against your own theory? So look.
Damn it, Matt Ward.
Shouts out to Matt Ward, though.
When I was watching wrestling when I was younger, we used to have this thing. We noticed that if a wrestler got a haircut, or in the women's case, if they came back and they were enhanced a little bit, they were usually going over. Rhea's got a new hairstyle somewhat from even her last it's shorter than it was in her last NXT takeover when she lost to Raquel. But I think to further, like I was talking about before, to further the storyline, I think Asuka's going to win, and Becky will come out and say, "Hey, I want my stuff back." So,
Okay.
Do you see a situation where, and again, it's the whole heel versus face, as Bang mentioned. Like that actually has an importance when it comes to WrestleMania. Do you see a situation where maybe they try to push heel Asuka versus face Rhea, and then Becky comes out as face? You know what I mean? Like you got to have.
well, Becky's anti-hero, right? She's like the
Yeah.
female Stone Cold,
Yeah.
so it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah,
Um,
I just mean for the Ripley Asuka, or do they just
for how they're
whatever?
going to work the match.
Mm-hmm.
I think Asuka's going to work face.
Okay.
I think she'll work face because Rhea's also she's also an anti-hero.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it just depends. But like, I just don't know what they're gonna do with Becky because
Mm-hmm.
you can start doing the you can start.
Oh my
you can start
God.
doing the,
Oh my God.
four,
Oh my
four
God.
horsewomen stuff. You know, like now you could start doing the four horsewomen stuff because you know what Rhonda's been training also. So
Has
we
she?
don't. Yeah, she's been training again, and from what I understand, I haven't seen Roderick Strong's wife,
Marina Shafir.
yeah, and I forgot.
She got her hair did. She got her hair did.
So, like, you know, that would be something that I could see as a long-term program to start building now, since they usually start building things on right at or after WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, like it might be the program after Becky and Asuka.
Okay.
But you know, I want to see what happens when Becky comes back. Yes. Well, I think if Becky comes back, Ronda will be like, okay, I need to avenge my loss at WrestleMania.
Yeah, where I kicked up at 2.
Right. So I think that might happen, but I'd love to see Ronda versus Bianca too.
Mm-hmm.
So
that'd be fire. So this, this last one right here, I think this is probably going to be my favorite match of the night. I don't have a prediction for this one. I don't know who's going to win. Who do I want to win? Obviously, I want Edge to win.
Mm-hmm.
Big Edge fan, been an Edge fan for years, but I don't know who's going to win. These three guys just been on fire this whole year. What do you guys think?
I think Roman.
Solid.
Yeah, and here's the only reason why. Daniel, again, this is from what I read, and I hate saying if it's just something I read, but most times when I read something, there's not a lot of validity to it. This one makes a little bit of sense that Vince came in, and I'm sure, Elliot, you read it, where he wanted to make it 3-way because just in case Edge can't go in a ring, a live setting for a half hour, plus he wanted Daniel to be there to save it. So I don't see Daniel winning. I'd love to see Edge getting his Daniel's going to get booed. Okay. I don't see Edge. I'd like to see Edge win to have that WrestleMania moment and send things off there. But again, Edge doesn't need a championship, but maybe give it to him because he came back after 10 years. I just see this whole thing continuing with head of the table, Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman. It's got too much behind it and can keep growing.
Cool. Elliot?
So, Edge. So, look, I could see if Daniel won it, he's going to make his move to the part-time role. So we're going to start seeing him maybe like WrestleMania season and a little while after. He's going to take that Undertaker position. So I could see if they gave him one last run. And this is like the Hulk Hogan thing. When Roman turned heel, which we have been saying for years, he is doing the best wrestling work of his
5
life.
years.
He is doing the best work I have ever seen, and I'm waiting for that Samoan SWAT Team 2.0. So I think Roman's going to keep the belt.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, man, I could see Daniel winning, but then at the same time, I could see Roman winning. What might happen, we might get something where there's a screwy finish that leads to the next pay-per-view where we don't know who won, and we're gonna have another triple threat leading to the next pay-per-view.
We got that at the Chamber though.
Yeah, but it's WWE.
I was about to say that.
They would, because I mean, you could say Roman Reigns walks out as the champ, but then it's like, okay, who's gonna be his next feud after this? Like, who's the next up and coming guy, or is Brock returning tomorrow
or tonight?
Yeah,
or tonight. Yeah.
I think what's nice about this, and before we jump to you, Julio, is we don't know. And I think that's what's nice about this is there's been so many WrestleManias in a row, and that's what's going to separate 37 from 27 and from 30 is 30, of course, you got the Daniel Bryan moment, but you do not know who's going to win that main event. And that's why I don't want to know going in who's going to win or who should win. You know, that's why when you look back at, just to, promote other things on Peacock, when you have the Batista, did you guys watch a little Batista 24 where they talked about him doing the Royal Rumble a few years ago? I think I saw that on the network. That kicked off the Blue Tista. But anyway, he came back and he goes, nobody should be booing Rey Mysterio. And it's like, yes, that is true. However, when you know what's going to happen, fans are going to revolt. You don't know what's going to happen with this one.
Hey, Julio, you never let me get my prediction in for the women's title match.
Oh, I did? I thought you did.
No.
Oh, who you got, man? I'm sorry.
So
Pete, back up. That's not the women's one.
Hear me out. This is what's going to happen. This is my preview, just saying how it might play out.
Lay it on. We got 7 minutes.
Okay, Ripley wins, and after she wins, Becky comes out and confronts her. Sets up for Raw tomorrow night. That's gonna be Becky Lynch's return feud.
That's why I skipped over you, man. No, I'm joking.
I know. Yeah, I know you did. You love me. Yeah, I know. But that's what I see that possibly could happen. Plus, Asuka hasn't defended that Raw title in like 6 months. She's been in the tag scene, so they've done pretty much nothing with that Raw tag title. So I think it's a way to rejuvenate interest in that tag title.
They don't know what to do with Asuka. They just really don't. She's got a good cooking show, though.
Yeah.
Does she?
Yeah, on YouTube.
Oh, might check it out.
So
cool, you guys. Well, it's almost WrestleMania time. I want to get some snacks in. I want to,
I have to set up my stream.
Yeah,
I got to set up a printer.
That too. I just want to thank you guys, though, man. This has been awesome. Hope we can do this every year. It's been cool, just chatting with you guys. It's been years since I seen, P, JR, Danye. I see you, almost all the time. Elliot, I see you every week. D. So just to talk to you guys about KG and wrestling, it's just been an honor, man. It's been a pleasure.
Same here, and I think we should do it more than once a year. So
yeah. Well, this is a tribute. We'll do the KG tribute every year, but we can set it up weekly. But you know what? Thank you guys so much. Man, this means so much. I haven't talked to you guys about wrestling again in years.
And we know if KG was here, this is here's what's nice about it. It's a KG conversation.
Yes.
Everything we're saying right now is
I'll tell you that right now. He'd have picked Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
He's his type.
And Roman Reigns.
Yeah. That's his type too. No, I don't know, but I'm just visualizing, 9:30 at night, front desk of State Street. I'm trying to leave, and KG's like, but let's just talk about Raw one more time. Okay, KG, we'll talk about Raw. So
that was KG.
Absolutely. Yep.
Well, you guys know we're live every Saturday, 7 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. So whenever you guys want to join us, you're more than welcome to. You guys, honorary hosts, whenever you guys want, man.
For sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool, man. Well, you guys listening, we'll be back next Saturday, 7 p.m. with more wrestling talk. We're going to be talking later on. Actually, maybe later this week, we'll go live. We'll talk about WrestleMania, what happened. We'll talk AEW because we didn't get the chance to talk AEW today, which is the first thing we usually talk on wrestling talk. But, due to WrestleMania season, we're talking WrestleMania and my good friend Kevin. So once again, I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Kevin, I love you, man. I miss you.
Love you, KG.
If you were here, you would be on this show. This would be your show. Like me and Dedrian talk about this all the time. You'd probably be producing it. You'd probably be the social media director of the show. This would probably be your show, man.
Oh, he would love StreamYard. I tell you that right now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So, with that being said, you guys, Kevin, man, we love you. Thank you guys for joining. It's Rasslin Talk.